Hey there everybody, it's voiceover Chum here, and I lied. It's me, Camera Chum, that's right. I know it's been a while since I've actually properly uploaded something, and that I'm in a brand new area. I'm in my room again. I swear every time I do one of these talking videos, it's in a new location, so sorry about that, but I'm here for a little bit, and while I am back home, I wanted to talk about something. I'll get to it in a bit though. Again, sorry about the lack of uploads. I'd meant to upload a couple of videos actually, I should say, a while back, and one of them didn't work out because of weather reasons, and the other one I didn't get around to because I've been just so swamped with a co-op placement that I've been doing for school. So I'm doing like 60-hour work weeks, and it's definitely been something. Now that it's about wrapping up, I got about a week left, so I figured, well, I want to make a little video before I upload the Apex Season 12 video, which is coming in 2 weeks by the time this uploads, hopefully, maybe, unless I die or something like that, so don't go thinking, what am I saying? Anyway, I wanted to just clear that up, just say, hey, I am alive. I know in my, like, 2 videos ago I said in my schedule that I plan to upload every 2 to 4 weeks, but this co-op has just been slamming me, so sorry. As I mentioned before, I'm back home for a little bit, and I figured I wanted to talk about something I've been pretty interested in for the past few months, and it's actually right behind me right here. They are these fancy things known as records. Wahoo. Anyway, I wanted to just make this little video of me just kind of rambling about them just because I think they're kind of cool, and I want to give you guys a little something to hold you over before the Apex Season 12 video comes out. That is underway, so be excited for that, but this is just a little mini video just to get you held over, you know what I mean? But as I mentioned before, yeah, I'm into collecting these little guys, these vinyl LP records, or however you want to call them. There's too many names for them. Yeah, but I've been collecting them for about 6 months now, and it all started off with this one, actually, the Ice 9 Kills Silver Scream 2. I don't know if you can see that in the camera. The light loves to reflect it, but we live with it, you know what I mean? The whole reason I bought it was just because I really like this album, and I went onto the merch store because I wanted to buy some merch, and I saw this was there, and it was a deluxe edition, so I was like, hey, we're gonna give it a shot. And I quickly realized that the record player that we had here originally was really old. It's like a 1950s or 60s, like old phonograph one, and that totally destroys the records because the force of the stylus, which is what presses down on the record, was about 3 to 4 times what it should be for modern day records. So I kind of went around and went looking for a new record player, needless to say, and I did a lot of research on that. I eventually settled on the Sony PSLX310BT. I think that's what it's called. I'm gonna keep it real. It is a stupid name. Sony has a huge issue with their naming schemes. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the turntable real quick and how I decided on that. I did a lot of research when it came to what I wanted. Originally, it was just as long as it doesn't destroy the records, I'm happy. But then I kind of got into looking at the different features and different bits and bobs of what there is for the players and things like that. So I eventually settled on 2 possible options. It was the Sony one here, which I ended up getting, or a Fluance one. I think it was called the RT81. And that was a really cool looking one. It's a fully manual one. And the ultimate difference between the two were that the Fluance one was fully manual. It was real deal stuff. It looked really nice too. But I settled on the Sony one because it was a little bit cheaper, and also it had some modern features like Bluetooth and some USB ripping feature that I plan on using. So I ended up settling for that because I didn't want to go too crazy, and the Bluetooth is pretty nice on that because I don't have any powered speakers to hook it up to. If you ever look up any proper, I guess, hi-fi turntable setup, you'll see that it's always turntable, preamp, receiver, speakers. But I don't have any powered speakers at the house, and I don't think they would take up, I think they would take up a little bit too much room on the back here, so I ended up just going with the Sony one because it does allow you to hook it up to proper speakers and all that, but I wanted to have the ease of Bluetooth just for easy listening. And I know about the Bluetooth, the quality gets lost. and it's basically worthless to listen to vinyl on Bluetooth, but like, we're not going to worry about things like that. It does the job, and I'm pretty happy with how it looks. It's fully automatic, and it looks pretty cool when it's doing its thing. I should have some background footage that I recorded earlier that's playing over this audio. If I ever were to get a proper turntable, and if I were to ever, I guess, upgrade in the future, it would probably be an Audio Technica one. I've seen that AT-LP120X, that looks really nice. It's a direct drive one, and I think that looks pretty cool. But I'm not talking about my wants and needs here. I want to just talk to you about the records now. So I should have some footage in the back here just of some general records that I have. These are like some of my all-time favorite albums. Like I want to own the records that I personally enjoy the most. You know what I mean? So you'll see here some of my all-time favorites. And although I don't own many records, I own about 6 or 7 at this point. I do quite enjoy listening to them, and it's quite nice being able to plop it down and see it spin around, and it's really cool. I have some pretty cool records as well. As I mentioned before, I have the Ice Nine Kills Deluxe one, which comes with a bunch of bonus stuff, and 2 bonus tracks on the record itself, which is pretty nice. But then there's some other things, like limited time pressing and things of that sort, as well as little interviews and extra goodies that you can have with the physical release. So I think it's just little touches like that that's really nice. As well as you can also see that these records that I'm showing you are all pretty fancy looking. They all have some sort of special coloring. And those are probably because they're a limited time run version of them. Like a lot of these are limited to like 500 pressings or 2,000 pressings or something like that. So I think that makes them pretty cool. If there's one record to note that gave me the most trouble, it was definitely the Evangelion one soundtrack. And this record was a pain to find because it came out about last year, but it's been completely out of stock from the original seller. So I've had to look at secondhand markets. And if you know anything about this record, is that it can get pretty expensive, like around like the $200, $300 mark. But I ended up getting it for a decent price. I got it at like $150, $160. So it's still quite a bit, but you know, we get them. And as I mentioned before, I think they look really nice as well. It's really nice being able to see that big album art right in your hands and opening it up and checking out what's going on and seeing all the little extra art and features and extra stuff that's there. It's the little details that they throw in, these little extra labors of love that makes it super cool. As well as I should also mention that it's 2 records, so a lot of albums now come with a double LP release, which if you see the Huey Lewis and the News one here, which I got from my grandpa, that one is just a single record. That was when they were being like mass produced, right? And when they were being mass produced, they were being made really thin, really cheap. And I'm just trying to show you here, but I don't know how well I'm doing in this footage. Anyway, my point is that records nowadays have a lot more love and care put into them because it's really for people that want to have a physical release of the music they have, because there's so many options nowadays, what with like Spotify and SoundCloud and all that, that having a physical version of it is really for enthusiasts, you know what I mean? I think Dankpods summed it up perfectly in his video. I'll be linking it down below. If you ever want to hear me something like to elaborate on this whole mentality, I think Dankpods sums it up very nicely. And again, I can't get over how just nice some of these look. Like I love all the extra goodies and how the record itself looks. And it's just super cool being able to hold it physically in your hand. Like, considering how nowadays everything is so instantaneous and instant gratification, what with like streaming services, it's kind of nice being able to plop down a physical record and take a listen to it. And I think that's it's mainly about the experience, you know what I mean? So it's not about whether or not, oh, it sounds better, or oh, I think it's better because I have the physical version. It's just because like the whole experience of putting the record down, taking a listen, and, you know, chilling out to it. Like, that's the best part about it. Watching it spin is pretty nice, too, especially with this Hollow Knight one here. The Hollow Knight soundtrack is pretty great, and I picked it up. And I really like how they were pressed. They're the pictures of the charms from the games on the record, which is pretty unique. So why choose vinyl? Why choose records to pick up and listen to? Why not CDs? Well, I mean, harkening back to the whole experience of it, it's just very nice to look at that big art and being able to hold that physical big disc in your hand. It's really nice and looks really cool. And I think it's a lot nicer to have just kind of on the shelf. And ultimately, it's not about having them on the shelves, of course. It's about listening to the music. And it's all about just, you know, putting it down, chilling out, taking a listen. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I just think it's cool. I think that's the best way to sum it up. I just think it's cool. So it definitely is a somewhat expensive kind of thing to collect, considering how modern day records run for about $30 to $50. But that's, again, it's just because of all the extra features and things like that, and especially how you're getting two records that are thicker than what they used to be. Like back then, they used to cost like $10 each, but nowadays, since there's so much extra stuff, what with online shipping, if you choose online, it can definitely rack up in price. But I think it's still pretty good. I got nothing really else to say. I mean, I just wanted to kind of ramble on about this little interest of mine and just give you guys a little something to hold you over before the Apex video comes out. So, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. It's just kind of, this is a pretty much fully unscripted video. I just kind of have some general notes in front of me. So, I suppose that's it for me. I mean, again, go check out Dankpods' vinyl video, and he talks about the whole experience of it pretty nicely, and I think it sums it up very well. So that'll be it for me. I'll see you guys in a few weeks. See you.